Us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational.
We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yes.
That's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on.
Okay. What's up, everybody? It's K-Dog. It's Karen. Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk Sports. I am here by myself tonight, so I get to clown and do what I want to do. It's K-Dog. Hey. Because my other host, she's not here to correct me. So listen, we have been having crazy internet problems. So I'm like, okay, this show must be destined. Because I prayed before we started. I said, God, I need you, God. And so we must be dealing with the enemy that's trying to keep us from going live. But we own it now. I had to plug in the cord to the computer to get it to work right. So, hey, you guys, I appreciate you guys joining in. Like and share this video. This is going to be a great show. We have a great guest on the show. We're going to go all in about golf. Now, you know, if you did know, my husband plays golf, and he's been playing it for probably about 20 years. So we're going to go there because I got a really funny video I'm going to show you about golf. My t-shirt line, we created a little funny video, but we're going to go there because I need to know, do they love that little ball more than they love their wife? I need to know that because they on that golf course for 4 or 5 hours. I'm just like, really? So we go on there. We're going to have fun. So I want you guys to welcome to the show, Mr. Craig Kirby.
My first experience golfing was my sophomore year at school at Albion College, and I was sitting in the living room of the Delta Sigma Phi fraternity house, of which I'm a member. 3 of my friends came downstairs and they said, "Hey Kirby, we're going to play a round of golf. Would you like to join us?" Sure, let's go. Had never played golf in my life. I had never even held a golf club. So I watched what they did, and I mean, I was an athlete. Got up there and I did my thing, and I hit that ball and it went out about 200 plus yards, but it was in the middle of the fairway, and that was the beginning of my golf career. I had no idea what I was going to do when I graduated. I didn't have a job. I didn't know. But again, I think that is the strength of the education received at Albion College, that I was ready for it when it came. Being able to work with the folks that I've worked with, Reverend Jackson, Ron Brown, Alexis Herman, President Clinton, Senator Mark Warner, Dr. Dorothy Height. I've just been so fortunate to have touched and been touched by so many people that cared about our country and cared about making America a place where everyone has the opportunity to better themselves. I've been able to experience many special moments while I was in politics, but now I'm in a different kind of politics in that I'm working with both the privileged and the marginalized. And to be able to work with both of those groups, it takes a lot of political astuteness, because I'm trying to create a level playing field where everyone can win. The golf course is the green boardroom. It's where business relationships are created and decisions are made. You know, I frequently tell people golf is an endless series of tragedies, obscured by the occasional miracle.
That's what I'm talking about.
But it's that miracle that keeps bringing you back again and again and again. My hope is not only can I experience miracles on the course, but also in the work that I do for kids who have no idea what this game offers, what this tradition can provide. They have those same type of miracles. Albion has instilled in each graduate, in all of us, the opportunity, I think, to have four things: book sense, street sense, common sense, and people sense. And it's that balance that enables us to be the stars that we are, where we are.
Welcome.
Thank you, Karen. How are you?
Oh my God.
Good.
I'm okay. I'm okay now. Now that we got all plugged in and hopefully we're gonna be able to roll and not have to worry about the internet. I'm good. How are
No,
you?
I am well. I am living the experience like everyone else.
Yes, COVID-19.
My.
I, I mean, it is not prejudice at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's it's interesting. I've got a daughter who's 16, and when this whole thing started, I looked at her and I said, "Hannah," I said, your dad's been around a little bit longer than you. I said, but what we're experiencing now, we're equal. I said, as a matter of fact, you have a better lens. You have an advantage over me with this because the lens of which I bring obviously is so historic that I can't make the transition on certain things. Whereas for her, it's new to her. It's just like she doesn't know that a black man can't be president of the United States.
Right.
Or a black woman could be vice president of the United States. I mean, for us, well, for me, because you don't seem that old, I can tell your joy. But we hoped it would happen, but for them it did happen. So
Yes. So it gave them, that they can do anything.
Exactly.
You can do anything you put your mind to. And so I think that's what's kind of motivating the world. You see a lot of young people that are out there protesting. Us old people, we at home, but the young people are out there laying in the streets and saying Black Lives Matter and protesting. So it's good. COVID-19 caused me to be at the house more. It caused quality time, because you couldn't go nowhere. I saved on gas.
Right.
I probably go out maybe once a week or so to go to the grocery store. Now that's been hard since I've been in. It's been a struggle just to go to the store. I'm like, I don't even want to go.
Right.
But only thing that what I really hate is that, on social media every day when I look, I'm seeing somebody saying, somebody has died. Rest in peace, rest in peace. And I'm just like, that's like you. I don't know, but it's just seemed like it's more than I've ever seen. Maybe it's because I'm paying attention or something, but it's like every day you see somebody talking about rest in peace. And I'm just like, wow. But anyway, first of all, I want to show you this little video first.
Okay.
Before, so we can get a little laugh.
Okay.
Before we jump into you telling us all about who you are and what it is you do.
Okay.
All right.
Every time I come home and you gone. And when you gone like 4 or 5 hours. Now, where could you possibly be?
Playing golf.
Playing golf. Now, what could golf give you that would cause you to want to be out there 4 or 5 hours?
Golf is a challenging game, you know. So it requires a lot of concentration. You know, you're out there with nature. It's just you and the course, you know. So it's your own penalties and all of that. You know, I just love
Well,
it.
yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about golf. I don't need you to teach me about golf. I'm complaining the fact that you've gone 4 or 5 hours. What makes you think I want to hear you tell me this BS about you got to do all this stuff to the course?
I don't know what you're complaining about. You know I'm always up and down.
Whatever.
Now that was
I like that.
me and my husband. We started this t-shirt brand called Unequal Yolk Makes Scrambled Egg, and so what we was trying to do is to give the t-shirt a voice and come up with little skits. And so he came up with Up for the Downstroke, and so we came up with a little skit about golf. We was driving home one day,
Okay.
and that's probably a lot of wives' conversation is 4 and 5 hours, and then the nerve to play 2 rounds. What the? You must not be trying to come home. So have you experienced? Your wife? Have you experienced that?
You know, I have not. My wife is from Augusta, Georgia, so she's a Southern belle, and she grew up in the golf world. Her dad actually worked at Augusta National.
Wow.
So she kind of understands that this is a sport where you could be gone for a few hours. The one thing that she did learn was she figured out that many golf courses are in some pretty beautiful places, some pretty beautiful resorts.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, well, if you're going to go to the golf course, well, I guess I'll just have to go to the spa. So it's a win-win. It was a win-win situation for her in that regard.
Well, see, that's good. I think we got a chance to go along in August. He took us on a golf trip, me and another golf mom. But we rented a house in Colorado.
Okay.
But every day they left us at home. They took the car and left us at the house every day while they were going to play golf.
They took the car?
They took the car because where we were, they had to drive like 45 minutes or an hour to the golf course. So they was like, well, you can take us and drop us off, or we'll just take the car. So every day for 4 days, they left us at the house while they went to play golf.
Well, I sure hope you made the most out of that house.
I did. I was actually working. I'm working on a documentary, and so I took advantage of just having the quiet time of him not being there. So I was okay. But the fact that he finally took us along, they allowed the wives to go.
I understand.
But anyway, hey, so you got a long resume. There's a lot of things you've been doing. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what's going on.
Well, yeah, I've been very fortunate. I was in politics for 35 plus years. I started with Reverend Jesse Jackson back in 1984. So I worked with him when he actually started the Rainbow Coalition. Then I was on the city council here in Washington, D.C. From there, I had a chance to work with Ron Brown when he was DNC chair, and Alexis Herman when she was at the DNC. Alexis obviously then went on to become Secretary of Labor in the Clinton administration. I also was fortunate to work in the Clinton administration. I was the assistant to the White House Chief of Staff. So my office was in the West Wing. I had the opportunity to fly Air Force One, Air Force Two, all those pieces. Had a chance to meet Nelson Mandela, which was probably the greatest encounter I ever had. Boris Yeltsin, had a chance to have a couple shots of vodka with him in Canada and then in Russia. I got to see the world. I have run campaigns all across the country, Senate, House, gubernatorial races, some local mayoral races, some city council races. And I'll tell you, all the campaigns that I've ever run, I've only lost one. I ran Alvin Brown for mayor, who was the first African-American mayor elected in Jacksonville, Florida. I worked with Mark Morial, former mayor of New Orleans, Kurt Schmoke out of Baltimore, Dennis Archer out of Detroit, Mayor Anthony Williams here in Washington, D.C. I worked at the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, 3 times, once when Ron Brown was chair, then when Terry McAuliffe was chair, who's the former governor of Virginia, and then Howard Dean, the former governor of Vermont. The last campaign I did was with former Governor Mark Warner, who is now the sitting U.S. senior senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I'll tell you, Karen, it was a great ride. I literally traveled the world, traveled the country, and had a great time. But I knew in 2008 that it was time to give it up. I mean, it was time to move on. And so I sat back and I thought about what it was that I enjoyed doing. And I enjoy playing golf. And so I decided that I would start a foundation that worked with underrepresented communities and brought them into the business and sport of golf. So we began very quietly in 2008. We had a commitment, we had a mission, and we had a purpose. And again, our mission is we create strategic alliance initiatives for education and career development in the sport and business of golf. And in our purpose, we work with multicultural talent bases, so communities of color, to engage, to open doors, to expose opportunities, and to create a platform for a greater comfort level with the game and industry of golf. When it's all said and done, the 3 things we do: we pique an interest in the game of golf, we create a connection to the game through the lens of our kids, not through the lens of some 60-year-old white man who's played golf his entire life who belongs to the country club. And then we also highlight the economic opportunities that the golf industry avails. A lot of people don't know, but the golf industry is an $85 billion a year industry. Karen, there are a ton of jobs in this industry that folks who look like you and me we don't know about. And so we want to make sure that we share, again, these opportunities with kids who look like you and me. It's very important for me that the actual game of golf is in our kids' toolkit. And what I mean by that is, and I said this on that video that you showed, and thank you for showing that, but the golf course really is the green boardroom. It's where business relationships are created and business decisions are made. It's a whole nother world out there. And so if you're not out there on that course, you've given up a lot, a whole lot. The one thing I do want to say quickly, though, so your logo, the We Talk Sports logo, you've got a football, a basketball, a soccer ball, a baseball, but you don't have a golf ball there, Karen.
It's supposed to be. It's pretty small.
Oh, I didn't even see a golf ball, Karen. You got to put a golf ball and a club there, okay?
Right.
All right.
You're right. Oh my God. You said 85 billion with a B?
$85 billion a year. Yes.
Oh, to hit that ball in a hole?
Oh, to hit that ball. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think we have been sleeping on that. Because we tend to think about basketball and football. And now we're kind of creeping on tennis.
Right.
But as far as golf, you know, that was kind of considered the only sport that we hadn't really tapped in to conquer like we have the other sports. And it was kind of like that's a white sport.
Exactly.
And so did you run into resistance as far as trying to bring this awareness to our culture?
No, I have not run into any resistance. A, I'm too stupid to run into resistance. And B, I'm very forthright on what I want to do.
Mm,
And as I've shared with a lot of folks in the industry who don't look like you and me, I've told them, I said, hey, the demographics of the world, of life, of our country are changing. The minorities are becoming the majority,
mm.
and the majority is becoming the minority. So the
You told him
industry, oh, I very much did tell them that. Yes.
that? Wow.
I mean, in order for them to continue to be successful, it's apparent and obvious that they need us to play. They need us to buy golf apparel, golf merchandise. But
Right.
more importantly, playing golf itself is just, I mean, it's fun, and you said something, because we historically have gone to football, basketball, baseball, and track. And as I share with each of our young men and women, I'm not saying I don't want you to play those sports.
Mhm.
If you're good at those sports, then be good at them. But what I want you to know is, should you get to that level where you play football on a Sunday afternoon in a real big stadium, or you play in the NBA or Major League Baseball, when it's time for you to meet with ownership and or your agent, or you conduct your business meetings, 9 times out of 10, Karen, they want to have those meetings on the golf course.
Mm.
So again, that's why it's so important for me that this game be in the toolkit of our kids.
Wow. Yes. And I'm all this time I was hating it because it took so, and I'm just like, you're going out there in 100 degrees to play golf?
Right.
You gotta be crazy. Because we're here in Texas.
Oh yeah.
We hot, and he will go out there all to play this little game of trying to hit this ball. And I'm just like, something ain't right about that.
No, it takes a special person, A, and B, you need to tell him he needs to get out there early in the morning.
Right. Well,
All
see,
right.
he be trying to, he got the golf special, so it's more expensive in the early than it
Well,
is
yeah, that's true. That's true.
when it's peak hot time.
Right. When it's hot, don't nobody want to be out there, so they're like $2.
Right. So, but then golf is very expensive, and so I had another guest on the show, and they were hockey, and they were just saying how we are not that dumb. We're not in hockey that much, and so how he also said how the sports is missing that because we are not in it as well. As far as Black people, and we could have a LeBron James in hockey.
Right.
And so that's interesting to kind of bring that out. But it is very expensive to play. So, how would a mom be able to afford even golf lessons for their kid?
So it is expensive. But I can tell you our program, first off, our program is free to kids, A. B, we provide our kids with their golf equipment. So we provide them with golf balls, golf clubs, golf bags. So we take away that expense. And we also partner with Youth on Course. And what Youth on Course is, it allows kids in our program to play golf courses around the country for $5 or less. So we've taken two of the most expensive pieces, the equipment and then the cost to play, off the table.
Really?
Yes.
So how would you said all around the United States? So how would a kid and all these private clubs?
These are private clubs. These are public courses. Yes, ma'am.
They subscribe to that?
Mhm. It depends on if Youth on Course is there. So what we do is, I can tell you, Golf My Future, My Game. Right now, we're in Washington, D.C. We are in Detroit, Michigan. We're going into Baltimore, Maryland, Annapolis, Maryland, Dayton, Ohio. And I'm looking, believe it or not, at coming to Texas around the Dallas area.
That's
So there's some things I'm working on. So I may get there and me and your husband can go play a little golf and we can come back and have a nice little brisket, huh?
Well, you got to bring your wife, though.
I'll bring her. Well, you know, if she comes.
Yeah. Tell her we're going to do some girl stuff.
I will ask her if she wants to come. Trust me.
So are you saying the reason why you got into golf is to make network and make connections? How did you even just get? I mean, because some people there went out and played golf, but they didn't necessarily start to like it. What was it that just like, oh, I got to do this?
I got into golf because golf is more than a game. Golf is a lifetime experience with unparalleled possibilities. I mean, you never know, Karen, who you're going to meet on the golf course. You never know where that conversation may lead. But also, just like the video you showed, you're one with nature. I mean, you're out in the open skies for 4 and 5 hours. The solitude of being in nature is wonderful. And you're not playing against another person. You're literally playing against yourself. And you're trying to improve your game. And that's what I love about this sport. Again, golf truly is an endless series of tragedies obscured by the occasional miracle. But it's that miracle that brings us back time after time after time. And it's being out there. I mean, when you go out on that course, it is just so beautiful. It's so peaceful, as Shannon just said. And, as I also share with people, nature is ancient, yet it's the one thing and the only things that still surprises us.
Yeah. I mean, it is wonderful being in nature. I mean, I think there's a saying that being in nature is like you're being closest to God, just being and just seeing everything that he created and stuff. Oh, but I don't know. I went to play Top Golf for my my husband's birthday, and I was hitting the ball.
Okay.
I was pretty excited that I was hitting the ball.
Okay. All right.
But to be out there, I would have to start at a par 3, where it's just
a par 3 executive course.
3 little holes. I had to start small.
Well, you know what? If you have to start with mini golf, start with mini golf. I mean, the one thing that I share with folks, and I want folks to know, I mean, everybody comes to a place from somewhere. All right. Tiger Woods didn't just wake up one morning and was the greatest golfer in the world. He started. Same with Jack Nicklaus. Same with Charlie Sifford. Same with Renee Powell. They came from a place and figured out that this want was a need that became a want.
That's good. Oh, okay. Is that like a bug that bites you or something? I mean, just to, you like you said, you're playing against yourself. So it's like this uh, uh, um, I don't know how to put it. It's just this thing that drives you to keep going out there to play and get better. Now my husband, he actually go out there to have fun. He goes
Right.
out there with his friends and he used to practice, and now it's just a place where he can go and hang out with his buddies to
Right.
get away from me.
Well, he's out there having fun, and you too can go out there. But I will also share this with you because your melanin content and my melanin content is pretty similar. And so when we were young kids, I'm quite sure mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, papa, mama, whatever you called them, they would tell you you had to be twice as good as Karen. You had to be twice as good as Cynthia. All right. And we did. And so we took that mental attitude with us to high school and for some to college. And then we went out in the work world and we would go to the office. We'd get there at 7:00 in the morning and work, and leave at 7, 8 o'clock at night. Because, we got to work hard.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Karen and Biff and Clark and Amy, they play golf. So let's look at it like this. Clark and Karen, Craig and Amy, all of us are of equal academic experience. We have BAs. We may have a master's in business. We may have a JD. So we're all the same. But Clark and Amy play golf. Senior partner comes into the firm one day and says, Craig, we've got a golf tournament next week. Would you two like to play? You and I look at each other. Well, no, we've got work we've got to do. Okay. He goes over to Clark and Amy. Clark and Amy, we've got this golf tournament next week. You want to play? Certainly. We'd love to. Thank you so much for the invitation. They now are on a completely different track because they're out there where the relationships are being made, where the deals are being cut. Meanwhile, Karen and Craig are in the office working like Hebrew slaves.
Right. Right.
And all of a sudden we look up and 6 months later, we see Clark and Amy on a whole different track. And you and I are still working hard every day. And so again, I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm not saying don't be prepared because you need to be. But what I am saying is you want that game again in your toolkit. So when asked, you're out there and you're talking about these $1 million deals. You're talking about how you go from a management trainee to potentially an executive vice president path or a senior vice president path or a general partner in a law firm. It changes everything. I mean, I've seen it. I've been a part of those conversations. Yeah, I've been very fortunate. True story. I was in my office one day and I got on the elevator and there was this gentleman who was an agent. He was a professional sports agent. He was the agent's agent. And I just happened, Karen, that day to have an Augusta National shirt on. And so he looked at me and he went, golfer? And I went, I am. And then he flippantly said, have you played the course? And I forgot what shirt I had on. And I looked down and I said, I have. And he went, well, what did you shoot? And I said, well, the first time I shot a 98 because I was really nervous. I said, the second time I shot 103 because I was a little hungover. I said, but then the third time I brought it down, I got it down to like 84. The fourth time, he said, wait a minute. He goes, how many times have you played? And I went 8 or 9. And the door opened up and he just looked at me and he said, who are you? And that's what I'm saying. This game changes conversations.
Who are you, or how could you afford to play there?
That wasn't even a part of the conversation at that point. It was literally, who is this dude who has played this course this many times, and I'm on the elevator with him and I don't know him?
I mean, because is money not associated with it?
Yeah, money is very much associated with it. But again, there are just certain Pebble Beach, Bandon Dunes. I mean, these courses, you say you've played these courses and they're conversation starters. It's like going to St. Andrews. You know, not everybody can go to St. Andrews, which is the mother of golf, or to go to Ireland. You know, and that's another thing I want to share with you. Our kids, we take our kids to St. Andrews.
Really?
Yeah, we were scheduled to go this June, but once again, the coronavirus had different ideals for what everybody was going to do.
Right.
But, you know, I wanted to do that because I want our kids to be able to have these conversations when they go back to school, because all of a sudden they're now looked at differently. Right.
So where did that compassion come from for your community? Like, I have a compassion here for my community here in DeSoto. I'm just like the #1 fan. I participated as a booster club, and that's how I, you know, just was around the kids. And I'm always about building where you sit. I promote our community. We're a predominantly Black community here in DeSoto. And when I moved here, my coworkers told me to go north because it was, you know, more white, and I came south, and that's where we are. And I'm just like, you know, when people come here, come check out DeSoto. Come check us out. We have a boxer. We have so many NFL players. We got lawyers. We got so many different people here of stature in this community. So, you know, I'm all about building our community. So how did you really get into just wanting to give this back to our community, our youth?
Because I'm Black. I mean, I grew up Black. Right?
Did you?
Literally, I grew up with being given a lot. And I want to give that back to our kids. I mean, I am a firm believer. We are not put on this earth to see through one another. We're put on this earth to see one another through.
That's good.
And so, however I can help someone be better, be happy, do good, I'm going to do it. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be here.
That's right.
But I know an act of kindness, love, support can stay forever. And I was very fortunate, to have a very strong mother and father, and then to work with the folks that I worked with, Reverend Jackson, Ron Brown, Alexis Herman, Dr. Dorothy Height. I mean, these are folks that cared about our people. And caring about our people doesn't mean that we don't care about others.
That's right.
It just means that we care about ourselves so that we can then share what we have with you. So come over and see how we live, because we have fun.
Right. Right. Now, how can kids, is it available for kids to get scholarships? How do kids get scholarship for college in golf?
So there are so many scholarships that are available for kids, especially in the golf world. But there's this one scholarship, and I'm really glad you asked that. There's something called the Evans Scholars. And the Evans Scholars are for kids that have caddied during their high school career. Karen, not played golf, but caddied. These scholarships are for full year, all expenses paid to schools like Stanford, Clemson, Texas A&M, University of Houston, University of Michigan, Florida, Florida State. I mean, Notre Dame.
Wow.
And our kids just don't know about them. And so one of our programs is called our Learn and Earn. And it's a national program that highlights the economic opportunities in golf by providing access and exposure to stipend paying employment. One of those jobs is being a caddy. Being a caddy is probably the best way to get into the business world. A caddy is going to make legitimate, quick money, and you never know who you're going to caddy for. We had 4 young men the past month that caddied at 2 tournaments here in the DC area. One of my kids is 9 years old. He's turning 10 in the next couple of weeks. But he went out and in 4 hours, he made $140. He got lots of swag, golf balls, because the players just fell in love with him. But more importantly, he now has an open door to these men and women who played that day. And so you've got kids out here trying to get jobs. I had one student, who works for us, and he's a graduate of an HBCU. And he said, Mr. Kirby, he goes, this job market is tight. He goes, I can get the interview, but I can't get the job. I can't close the deal because they already know who they want to hire. So I looked at him and I went, have you ever thought about being a caddy? And he said, huh? And I went, have you ever thought about being a caddy? And he goes, no. I said, let's look at it. So we got him into that system. We got him in training. And again, everybody comes to a place from someplace. People don't just wake up being caddies. Mm-hmm. But he ended up caddying, making $200-300 for 4 hours work. But one of those folks he caddied for took a special liking to him, took an interest in him, and started asking him questions. And that then became his caddy. Next thing you know, this executive vice president said, you know what, why don't you give my office a call? He called the office. That call, he now has a job.
Wow.
Right? I mean, we all know there are more ways to skin a cat, but as opposed to bumping up against all these algorithms, there's nothing like a conversation. Yeah. And again, you're learning. We've got all these kids out here looking for jobs. I'm telling you, being a caddy is one of the greatest experiences you'll ever have.
Wow. And, because with COVID and everything that's going on with sports and, we have all these kids, that have been groomed to play football and they want to go to the NFL. And so right now, since there was no camps and no tryouts, we're dealing with a lot of players who are dealing with depression because they've dreamed to doing something like this. And then I was talking to a mom, some of them have never worked a job because that's all they did was sports. Exactly. And so to know that might could be a avenue because, most of the executives of sports and coaches and stuff, they are playing golf. So you can go out there and become a caddy and might just slide your way right on a team.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Oh, you got to be wise as what's that? Wise as a serpent, calm as a dove or something.
Oh boy. Yeah, but I mean, it literally, it's right there in front of us. Another one of our programs is our STEMA program, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and agronomy. And the reason that we put that agronomy in there is because of turf science. And turf science is all about grass. I mean, it truly is about understanding what makes grass grow, how it grows, what kind of grass should be here. Because your grass on the tee box is different than your grass in the fairway, which is different than your grass on the green. And as I tell my kids, you know, there's money in this grass. If a golf course is pristine, that's when you have players. If you have players, they're going to buy beverages, they're going to buy food, they're going to go to the pro shop. All right. It all comes from the green of the course. And so there's something, we've got a partnership with golf course superintendents, and they are looking to hire people. Now, yeah, one route, we've got our kids who go to college, but we all know not every kid wants to go to college.
Right.
You don't need a degree to cut grass, at least not to get started. But once you get in there, there's so much you can learn. I mean, you've got golf course superintendents, Karen, that are making $250,000 a year and traveling across and around the world because they understand turf science.
What?
So there's, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, $85 billion a year. And that's just two examples. Let's talk about a golf tournament. All right. In the Dallas area, you had the Byron Nelson tournament. All right. Well, when that tournament comes into town, who is the suppliers for the salt and pepper packets? Who are the suppliers for the toilet paper at the course? Who are the drivers? Who are the consultants? Who are the accountants? All of these jobs come in when that tour tournament comes in. All right. You also have in Frisco, the PGA of America is moving there. That's huge. That's huge. The number of jobs that are coming to your area over the next year, girl, let me tell you, y'all know.
You making me maybe rethink my career. Wait a minute. Oh my God, you're just getting me so excited. I mean, my husband might get somebody. I may go play golf with.
Go play with him.
No, he be fussing at me, talking about I go too slow and I can't talk. You're not supposed to be doing all that talking. But if you was there with your friends and drinking, you would be talking.
I'm not getting in the middle of that.
You're right. But okay, so you get back to the caddy. Now, I see the caddies on TV with Tiger. They have to know something about golf. They have to know about which club do he think he needs to use. And so how would a person learn that?
By doing it. I mean, how did you learn to eat? By eating. You know, how did you learn to cook? By cooking. Again, everybody comes to a place from some place. You get in there and you begin to learn. All right. You begin to walk these courses. You begin to notice the adulation of the greens, the adulations of the fairways, what club to use. Is the wind coming this way? I mean, you learn all these things. But again, you've got to start somewhere. And I was in a meeting one day, and the question was asked of me, well, did I think that people of color would see a young black man who was carrying clubs for an older white man as subservient? And I looked at him and I said, well, first off, is making $10 million subservient? Because that's what Steve Williams made when he was Tiger Woods' caddy. All right. When you're on the tour, the caddy gets 10% of what the player makes. So if you were with a good player, you're going to make some cheese. You're going to make some cake. All right.
10%.
But again, Steve Williams didn't just start out caddying for Tiger. All right. Let's say we've got a young man who's 12 years old in DeSoto. We get that kid out there caddying. All of a sudden now he's learning. All right. There are a couple friends that I have on the PGA Tour that are caddies who would love to talk to these kids because they'd love to see folks that look like them caddying. But more importantly, that's how people of color got into golf, was caddying back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. That was our entree point.
Right.
Was caddying. And that caddy is more than a person, like you said, just carrying clubs. Yeah, that caddy is a psychologist. That caddy is the manager. That caddy is everything to that player. So offline, you and I will get together because we'll talk about this, because that's what I'm coming into your area for specifically.
Okay, because I think we just now got it in our schools, because there was a lot of schools don't have golf as even a class, as an athlete, as a class. So I think we do have it now, but it was like after my kids had got out of school.
Right.
So it's just now kind of picking up. And so that would be great to pull some kids together, get this super. I'm down, because because we don't go there, we don't know.
Exactly.
It's that thing we just don't know. We see it on TV but nobody comes and tell us. I don't see nobody going around and coming to the school and talking to kids about golf as being an avenue as far as a career. We don't have that.
Right.
So
no, we don't, but that's what we do. That is my mission in life. That is my purpose. My purpose is to help bridge that gap between those citizens. But this is what I say every day. I work with both the privileged and the marginalized.
Yeah.
And my goal is to make the marginalized a little more privileged.
That's good. That's good. So do you do anything else outside of golf, or is that your job?
This is my job. This is my full-time job, girl. I wake up every morning, but I'll tell you, what better job, because when I'm at work, I'm on the golf course. So, you can't get upset about that. Today, here in Washington, it was like 75 degrees, and I had to go out on the course because I had to play a couple rounds.
You had to play?
I had to play. That's my job. My job is to be on the course, making sure that these kids are comfortable. And I say that because last week we had a group of kids at a tournament, and this tournament was at Riverbend Country Club. Beautiful club. A beautiful club. And Tatiana, one of our girls, she went to her mom and she said, "Mom, are we supposed to be here?" And I found out she said that. I said, "Girl, yes, you're supposed to be here. All right, you're supposed to be here just like anybody else is supposed to be here. But again, it's that comfort level. All right, it's one thing to play. It's another thing to be comfortable while you're playing." Yeah. And that's what I make sure. I'm not just going to send a kid to a course, a public course or a private course, not knowing who's with them, because something goes wrong. I might be all nice and everything, but I got a little bit of something in me.
Don't mess with your kids.
Don't mess with my kids now. And if I don't, I know who to call.
That's good.
I'm Catholic, so I can go to confession.
That's good. So basically, kids can go play golf for free. I mean, for $5.
$5. Free. I mean, pretty much. I mean, you can't even go to McDonald's and get a French fries, a Big Mac, and a Coke for $5.
Right. So, so you said there's this organization that is around the United States, and if it's at that particular golf course, I'm gonna ask my husband to see if it's at our golf course here, because he's been trying to go to this private one, but that's pretty expensive.
Right.
But they allow them to come and play sometimes.
Right.
So I'm gonna search it out and find out if this organization is around here. And then what else can I do to bring this awareness to parents as far as it being an option?
Well, I'd love to, again, I'd love to come in, and we just set up a time when we talk to parents about the various opportunities that avails itself to these kids. What really drives me, about 7-8 years ago, I had a mom come up to me and she said, Mr. Kirby, thank you so much for letting Jerome be a part of your program. And I looked at her and I said, no, thank you for bringing him, because without you, he wouldn't be here. But then she said, Karen, she said, Mr. Kirby, don't talk about my choices if you don't know my options. Karen, I looked at her and I said, I heard you. And from that moment on, my mission, my goal has been to provide options for our kids.
Yes.
So they can make choices.
Yes. That's good. But if they don't even are not even aware of it, they won't even know that they can choose to do this.
Exactly. I mean, when I didn't start playing golf until I was a sophomore in college. I literally passed a golf course a minimum of twice a day in Dayton, Ohio, and never went in there.
Right.
A, I didn't think I was supposed to go in there.
Right.
And B, my parents, my teachers, my coaches, my mentors, no one ever talked to me about golf.
Nobody.
So, like I said, when those guys asked me if I wanted to play, I was kind of frozen for a moment, but then I said, yeah. I mean, I didn't mess up everything else. I'm gonna mess this up.
Right.
So, I went out there and I watched. I mean, I was an athlete. I watched them and I'm like, wow, I can do this. And the funny thing about that, Karen, I played well enough where they invited me again. So I came back out the next week. So I'm literally on the golf course the next week, and another friend of mine comes up. I was on the 7th hole, and he looks at me and he goes, hey, Kirby, what are you doing this summer? And I looked at him and I said, pardon me, I said, Mark, I don't know why. He goes, well, how would you like to work on a cruise ship? And I looked at him and I said, huh? And he goes, yeah, my dad, he just bought interest in this cruise line and we're looking to staff it up. And I figured if you like golf, if you're out here in the golf course, you liked water. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, what? I mean, I don't understand what you're saying, but yeah, I'm gonna work on this cruise ship. So literally 2 months later, that was my summer job, my sophomore year in undergrad. I was the maitre d' on a cruise ship. I had never been on a cruise ship.
Wow.
I did that my sophomore and junior years. And again, as I said earlier, I was on the golf course. I'm not going to say that's going to happen to everybody, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. You just never know.
You never know.
You never know. And then the other part of that, with athletes and injuries and stuff like that, golf, you don't have those type of injuries that you do in football.
No, you can play golf till you're 100 years old. I mean, you might not hit the ball far, but you can play it. Shoot.
If anything, what's the injury? Like the Rotary Cup or something like that?
Yeah, your Rotary Cup. I mean, it's kind of hard to get hurt playing golf. I'll just say that.
Hard. That you get hit in the head with a ball.
Yeah, exactly. Now that could do some damage right there.
Okay, well, you know what? I have enjoyed this show. Thank you so much for coming on. And I look forward to, I may give golf another thought if my husband, I'm gonna tell him about it. I may just give it another thought.
That's between y'all now. That's between you and your husband. All right?
If he let me come out and play, I'm gonna send you an email. Like he's letting me go out and play. I made 100 or whatever.
There you go.
Handicaps or.
If you break 100 on your first time out, that's daggone good.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you come, maybe the other moms, we all go and do a golf game with the.
I would love to play with you all. Like I said, we could go play putt-putt. I was really fortunate last year. I was on Steph Curry's show, Holy Moly. So it was great, and it's miniature golf. So we can all go out and just have a great time. But I look forward to getting to your part of Texas and talking with you and the moms about these opportunities for our kids.
Yes. And, I do have hopes. Yeah, I don't know with COVID-19 if things ends up shutting stuff down. I want to do some type of sports conference and invite a lot of people on the show and invite parents to do a virtual conference. And I think that'll be a time where their minds are open to, everything that's going on, where some professional people can come in and just really pour into moms to better equip them as far as making informed decisions when they put their kids in sports, because, usually the first thing we do is to put a football and a basketball in their hands. I don't see no cushion. We got to make some more cushion golf balls. So it can be the first ball that they put in their hand is a golf ball versus, but we got to make that, we have to, make those things more accessible to our kids, the choices to make, not just focus on these two. Let's let them try all these sports and figure out which one is the best one to for them to play. But this has been great. I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all your wisdom and knowledge to our guests. And so, is there anything else you want to say to our parents that you think they need to know?
Yeah, all I want you to know is that this is a great opportunity for kids. Please look at us online, www.golfmyfuturemygame.org, and reach out to us. We'll get back with you. Let's just make it happen. It's real easy. You start, you play, you finish. At the end of the day, you're happy. Thank you so much for including me this evening.
Thank you. So, hey, you guys, like I said, share and like this video. If you know somebody that, any kids that like golf, any parents that are thinking about golf, share this video because it's very informative. I did not know that $85 billion is in the golf industry. So that's money out there that's available for us. So share this video. Also, you guys, that in the post that we have been we have a GoFundMe because we want to take the show to another level. I need marketing and I need someone to come in and work on our website. So during our winter break, we're going to be working on taking the show to another level and just fixing some things that need to be fixed. So go to the post. In the post, there's a link to make a donation. So all right, you guys, thank you so much. This is Karen. Can We Talk Sports? And we'll be back on Sunday with another great show. All right, thank you.
All right, Karen.
All right.